Algebra 2 section math. We are in lesson 19 and we're going to deal with two different things today. One is value word problems and the other one deals with triangles or angles, which we will look at 19b. So let's start with 19.1 and I'm going to be on page 95. 19.1 says Mungu had 50 nickels and dimes whose value was $4. How many of each kind of coin did he have? The first sentence gives us two equations, and you think, how do we get two equations out of that? Well, it says that he had 50 nickels and dimes. So remember in the past where we said number of nickels plus number of dimes equals 50. Now read the statement again. Karamenju had 50 nickels and dimes. There's our total. Nickels and dimes equals 50, and it says whose value was $4. Okay, so the second equation, okay, equals $4, and we know that 0.05 number of nickels plus 0.1 number of dimes, and the reason we're doing that and giving these values is because 5 cents is a nickel and 10 cents is a dime, and the total was $4. Okay, now we can either use substitution or elimination as far as this is concerned. Well, because we have decimal points here, we need to make it so that there are none. So equation B is going to be changed, and we are going to move the decimal point over 2 times there, over 2 times there, and over 2 times here. So it's going to be 5 number of nickels plus 10 number of dimes equals 400. The top equation stays the same. Number of nickels plus number of dimes equals 50. There's our problem. Okay, now how do we solve for this? Well, we could rearrange the top equation, equation A, and say number of nickels equals, and if we move this number of dimes over here, we could say 50 minus number of dimes, because we subtracted number of dimes here and we subtracted number of dimes here. That canceled out. So our bottom equation has that we can solve for what number of nickels is. So we can use equation B and we can say 5 times, well, what does number of nickels equal? Number of nickels equals this: 50 minus number of dimes plus 10 number of dimes, because I'm still right here, equals 400. Excuse me. So I substituted this value for number of nickels. Okay, and again, from here we're just solving for number of dimes and so on, right? So we're using distributive property. So we're saying 250 minus 5 number of dimes plus 10 number of dimes equals 400. We're getting number of dimes together, so literally we have 250 plus 5 number of dimes equals 400. We're moving this 250 over there and you can solve. Okay, I understand you know how to do that, but I just wanted to show you that this is just another version of an elimination or substitution problem. Okay, let's look at 19.2. The fishmonger sold codfish for 6 pence each and mussels for 1 pence each. If Harriet bought a total of 26 items and spent 86 pence, how many codfish did she buy? Okay, couple things that we know is that it gave us number of cod. Let me try this again. Number of cod plus number of mussels equals 26. Alright, how do I get that? Look at the question again. He sold codfish and he sold mussels. There's cod, there's mussels. And he sold them for 1 pence and 6 pence if Harriet bought a total of 26 items. So here's my total, 26. Number of cod plus the number of mussels equals 26. Notice that this one is not a dollar amount sign. We don't want dollars here, we want total. Okay? On the bottom is where our equation B is, where we're going to get the price of them. Okay, so sold cod for 6 pence. So we're going to say that 6 number of cod plus 1 number of mussels equals, and then what was the total? We had 86 pence. Okay, what is a pence? It's some type of currency. I don't even know, but it's some type of currency. Okay, so again, here's our number. We can use elimination to do this. We can use substitution to do this. It doesn't matter what we go with. I think this one's going to be easy to do, elimination, because this is 1. We can multiply by a -1 here, and we can get a new problem. It'd be -1 number of cod minus 1 number of mussels equals -26. The bottom stays the same. Okay. Now, what did we eliminate? Notice that we eliminated number of mussels. That's a negative and a positive, so that goes away. So we're left with 5 number of cod, -1 and a 6 is 5 number of cod equals, and we should have 60 here. Okay, divide by 5, divide by 5, number of cod equals 12. Okay, and if number of cod equals 12, we can put this back in. 12 plus number of mussels equals 26, and we can subtract 12, and we can get number of mussels equals 14. There's our answer. Okay, so you can do it either way, elimination or substitution. Elimination seems to be an easy way here because we've got 1 for a value here, and it's simple to do. Okay, all right, let's go to the next section of this lesson, which has nothing to do with those kinds of equations, but has to do with kind of a geometry idea with an AA and an AAA definition. Okay, so when we talk about a theorem, okay, which is an angle-angle or angle-angle-angle theorem, we can basically prove, okay, if each one of these legs is the same, equilateral triangle, then angle, angle, angle is true. All right, so we're going to be talking through this idea of how to prove these equations. Okay, there is something on page 96 that demonstrates the fact that there's a no-choice theorem. They call this the no-choice theorem. There's a simple 3-step proof, which is basically to find the sum of all the angles. Okay, now what is the sum of the interior of a triangle? It's 180 degrees. So if we label this A, B, and C, we would be able to say this: angle A plus angle B plus angle C equals 180. Or we could say angle B plus angle A plus angle C equals 180. Or we could say angle C plus angle B plus angle A equals 180. In other words, it doesn't matter if we start with A or if we go to B or we start with C. It is all true. And we can prove it by using and starting angle A or starting with B or starting with C. Okay, I know that's redundant, but that's what the theorem states. Okay, all right. Example 19.3 is a little bit different. Okay, so here we have a unique shape. This is 4, this is 5, this is 7, y and x, and then we have 6. And you'll notice there are 3 tick marks or angle marks with these 2 statements, or these 2 angles, and then these 2 are the same. Okay, so what do we know equals each other? Okay, 5 and x are the same line. We know that 4 and 6 are the same, so 7 and y have to be the same. Okay, and so what we're going to do is a scale factor, and what you're going to see is a right to left scale factor. So we're going to say 4, we use 4 scale factor equals 6, because 4 equals 6. Okay, get scale factor by itself. Scale factor equals 6 over 4, or 3 over 2. Okay, reduced, which means that we can use this fraction and multiply it by 5 to come up with x, and by 7 to come up with y. So let's do that. Let's solve for x first. Okay, 5 times 3 over 2 equals x. Okay, which means that it's 15 over 2. That's x. Y here was 7 times 3 over 2, which equals 21 over 2. So y equals 21 over 2, and we have solved for our problems. Okay, so not too difficult to find those scale factors. It's simply finding which identifies with which. Okay, now you'll note that all that happened here was we kind of flipped the triangle. Okay, so this triangle, or this angle, and this angle are the same. All right, so just keep that in mind. And again, these angle marks are helpful for you. Okay, so let's do number 14 in your text. So basically we need to find out what x, y, and z equal. Now it says use Pythagorean theorem, so let's look at this right triangle on this side. We have the hypotenuse is 10 and the side b as 8, which means that we're going to have c squared minus b squared to find what z is, which is a squared. So 100 minus 64 equals 36. Well, we take the square root of 36 and we find out that z is equal to 6. Okay, now once we have that solved, we can use a scale factor, and the only scale factor that we can use is this 7 and this 10, because both this line and this line are the same. Okay, so we're going to say 7 scale factor equals 10. We divide by 7, scale factor equals 10 over 7, which means that we can multiply this scale factor by 8 to find y and by 6 to find x. So let's multiply it by 8. So that is 80 over 7. So y is 80 over 7. And then 10 over 7 times 6 over 1 equals 60 over 7. And that's what x will equal. So we've found out all of our problems just by doing that. Pretty simple. Okay, just got to apply the math that we already know, and then some that we're beginning to learn with our lessons. Okay, that's your lesson today. Hopefully you do well on it.